Has Meghan Markle just been successfully sued for having lead in her Clevr Blends coffees? I am here with DC lawyer extraordinaire John Witherspoon to explain more. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much got me eye, and oh my goodness, yes, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because, John, when you brought me this story, because it was you that actually sent me the link, I was like, oh my goodness, please, please, please have the time to do a video with me on this one, because this is absolutely insane. It seems like, reading through this article, that Megxie and her brand that she's invested in, Clevr Blends, was actually successfully sued for having lead in the coffee. Now, there has been a lot of talk in the Megxit community over the years that there's been lead in this coffee. But to me, this is the first time that I'm hearing that someone might have actually successfully sued Megxit. I mean, going through this article, you know, what is your assessment of it? What happened? Your thoughts? That kind of thing, John.
Well, a little background in this case. This is an article about a situation that apparently arose a couple of years ago with the Clevr Brands coffee, which is a company that Meghan invested in. And I believe this is the company where she did the TV ad where she walks around and fist bumps somebody and carries around some coffee cups or whatever it is that she's doing.
Yeah.
Just as far as the background of this particular case, for people who are in the UK or maybe in some other parts of the United States, California has a law that was passed, I believe, in 1986. And basically what the law says is that any product that is on the market or that you might come in contact with in the state of California, if there is something in it above a certain amount that might be harmful, such as lead in this particular case, the law requires in California that they put a notice on the product that says this particular product contains some ingredient that is known to the state of California to cause reproductive harm or to cause cancer or some other unpleasant condition. Okay. And that's why you sometimes see on a package that you pick up of a certain product, they'll have that warning notice on there. Okay. As part of that law, it's not just the state of California that goes around looking around to try and find different items that have these allegedly harmful contents in them. You, as a private citizen, or in some other cases, different types of entities, can actually take on sort of an enforcement role. And you can then go around and find products that you think have some harmful ingredient. And you can then start litigation, and you can go to the state, and you can go to the company that is making this product available, and you can say, hey, I think that your product has got something in it that it shouldn't have, or it needs to have this warning on it, and I'm going to take the lead on getting something done about this. And this is not a particularly unknown phenomenon. For instance, there are companies that will look at Google Earth, for instance, pictures, and they will look at restaurants or stores or whatever, and they'll count the number of parking spaces using the Google satellite image, and then they'll look and they'll say, oh my gosh, they don't have enough handicap spaces that are required under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And so in that case, they'll do exactly the same thing. They'll go to the government or they'll go to the person and they'll say, hey, we looked at your business, it doesn't comply with the law, and we're going to launch a lawsuit. So that's basically what happened here with the allegation that there was lead in this coffee that the company that this Clevr Brands that Meghan had invested in, that was the root of the problem. Okay. What ended up happening, apparently, is that somehow there was a settlement reached where both sides agreed to do something that was palatable or acceptable to the other side to mutually agree to drop this litigation. Now, the interesting thing is that there was a confidentiality agreement included as part of this settlement, and neither side admitted that there was a problem, and we don't know if there was money that changed hands. I don't believe, but the interesting thing to me is that if I was the vendor of this coffee, I would want the world to know that, hey, these guys came to us, they tried to sue us because of this allegation of stuff that was in our products that really wasn't there, or they tried to allege that the labeling was incorrect. And like I said, if I was that person or if I was that company, I would really want people to know, hey, we haven't done anything wrong. In this particular case, this confidentiality agreement, which was entered into, does not allow them to do that, which is very interesting. So what I'm suggesting might have happened is that, lo and behold, these allegations of these violations of the California law might, not saying they were, they might have actually been correct. And Clevr Brands, Meghan's company that she's invested in, might have then said, okay, you know what? Yeah, we agree with you. We messed up. We'll go ahead and start putting labels on the coffee, or we'll change the ingredients, or we'll change the supplier, or something like that. Again, all hypothetical, but it just rings to me a little bit strange, because if I was in the position of that coffee company, I would want to be able to tell the world, you know what, these guys came after us. We fought them off. We haven't done anything wrong, and we just want everybody to know that. But apparently that's not the way it worked out. So it's just kind of interesting food for thought.
Well, yeah. And I mean, the article here kind of explains that when this kind of, let's say, representative body that sued Meghan Markle's firm that she's invested in, Clevr Blends, when the 60-day notice of violation was issued, it stated that lead and lead compounds were found in Clevr products without any proper warnings, given the example of its rose cacao super latte. I've probably butchered that, but okay. I'm not a coffee drinker, I'm a tea drinker. dragonstreasure.com, use code ALTERNERD for a couple of pennies off there. But yeah, they're literally like very specific in their filing of, not only have we found lead and lead compounds in your products, but we can also specifically state which products we have found lead and lead compounds in, giving this example of the rose super latte, and listing possible types of harms as birth defects and other reproductive harm. Also stating that it'd been selling these products since at least June the 1st, 2021. So for essentially this representative body known as the SPFC turning round and suing the company that Megxi is invested in, Clevr Blends, for having lead and lead compounds in their products, being able to specifically say, this is the actual product that we found it in. Yeah? To me, because they were so specific in their filing of their accusation, to me it gives them more credence that they were actually right, that there was lead and lead compounds in this product. And it definitely does not help Clevr Blends and their kind of side when they've essentially settled before it even comes to court, and keeping the reason confidential as to why it was all settled in the first place. Mm-hmm. Like John says, if there wasn't any lead in these products whatsoever, you'd fight it. you'd be like, no. We're going straight to court. Let's go. We've got the evidence. There's never been lead. There's never been any lead compounds. Let's go. They'd go straight to court to fight it. Because it's not only just a monetarily kind of damaging situation, but it's a brand damage potential situation as well that they'll want to mitigate there.
Right.
But the fact that they didn't do that and they've settled and it's all confidential, to me, it's like, what have Clevr Blends got to hide? You know what I mean, mate?
Yeah. Well, I'll just point out too that and I'm not a California lawyer, so I don't know the nuances of this law, but my understanding is that, just as a random example, you might grow tomatoes or something in your backyard. And if you tested the tomatoes grown in the soil in your backyard, you might still find, oh my gosh, there's some of this or some of that that is on the list of products that are potentially harmful. And in fact, when you see those labels on products that say, this has been tested and known to the state of California to cause reproductive harm or cancer or whatever it is, I think a lot of people just kind of really roll their eyes and they say, oh my gosh, what doesn't have these harmful, ingredients in, what doesn't have these harmful ingredients in it? Because the list is so extensive and you see this stuff all the time. So the quantity of lead that they allegedly found in this coffee put out by Clevr Blends could be very, very, very small. But at the same time, it was a potential source of some litigation. And for all we know, what often happens in these types of cases and what happens in the cases like I was describing before, where people say, oh my gosh, we have found that you don't have enough handicapped disabled parking spaces on your property. They'll say, we could either sue you or if you pay us a certain amount of money, we'll drop the suit and this whole business will go away. That's probably what the people who brought this suit, and it's the, as you said, Safe Products for Californians, which is just, I think, a name that this law firm made up, I believe, just to sort of be able to put their name on the litigation somehow. They and Clevr Blends might have said, okay, you know what? We really just want to make this go away. Clevr Blends, you pay us for our legal fees and agree to put a different label on your coffee or change the formula of the coffee, and we'll be done with you. And by the way, we'll just make a confidential agreement. I'm guessing, I don't have knowledge, obviously, because it is a sealed agreement. I'm guessing that that's the type of thing that probably happened in this case, because that would be very typical of how these things end up getting resolved. At the same time, not every company has a Meghan Markle associated with it that everybody's interested in. So not a big surprise that Daily Mail came along and said, wow, this is kind of interesting. People would probably like to know that this company that Meghan Markle is involved with has had some litigation with an allegation that they had some lead in their coffee and they didn't label the package of the coffee right, and on and on and on. And that's how this particular case probably came to see the light of day.
Either way, the outcome of it, where just after 2 months later, the notice was withdrawn, they've come to a settlement, and it's all under confidentiality agreement, does not look good on the part of Clevr Blends and by extension Meghan Markle, because she is an investor in it. And the only reason why we know about Clevr Blends, as far as I'm concerned, is because of Meg's investment into this particular brand. But yeah, guys, with that being said, if you like this video and you want more, and believe me, of course there's gonna be more, then make sure you subscribe to join our alternate tribe. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. Also, as well, if you've got some very strong opinions about Meg's investment company of Clevr Blends being sued, and I bet you do, then make sure you send me some super thanks. It's just below this video right here. We can have a conversation about this because it does guarantee a response from me. And until the next time, you guys, laters.